Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, we proudly present the speech competition in commemoration of National Education Day 2021. Let me introduce our judges today. Give applause. Give applause. Okay. The third one, we have Miss Margareta Francia. Let's call our first speech today. Our first student. I'm sorry. And the stage is yours. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dear headmaster, the honorable judges, and all who are here. First, let us thank for God who gives us healthy time and air for us, so now we can gather in this place in this occasion. Also, thank for the chance given to me to speak here. My name is Maria Ferdinand Aldian Bambut. Here, I will give a speech about increasing creativity and innovation to create independent learning. I choose this topic to make learning effective and students more productive in this regard. First, I want to reveal some facts about the system in Indonesia. Based on the research by Professor at Harvard, Indonesia took 128 years to catch up with the quality of education provided in education. Based on the research in PISA, Indonesia ranked 72nd out of 77 countries. For this, Indonesia gets 371 points for reading, 379 for science, and 396 for mathematics. What these facts have in common is that the quality of education in Indonesia is very low, so it ranks at the bottom. Ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine that? The question now is, how do we realize independent learning? Actually, what is independent learning? Independent learning has two very related meanings. That's independence and independently. This does not mean that students are free to independently do what they learn. Independent learning means that schools, teachers, and students have the freedom to innovate and act in the learning process while they pay attention to the teachers at the center. Ladies and gentlemen, in this 4.0 era, it should not make independent learning just a slogan, but independent learning is a move to make education in the future more qualified. This is not an easy thing, especially in today's digital era with increasingly advanced technology offline learning system to e-learning system. This is not an easy thing. This is related to the use of technology, and it is not that something that is uncommon for all students to understand it. Regarding technology, depending on its respective uses, it might be better if we use technology to create new innovations, such as game-based learning. It will be fine if it was the case, and also to make our learning more effective. Then there is the literacy movement that we are looking at today. This is also related to the low reading culture in Indonesia. Finally, I'm glad that this learning system we have two innovations. I hope our education will innovate even better in the future. The limitation should not be an excuse to be lazy and stop productive. Before the eyes, there is an ocean. It's such as natural, beautiful bird. At this point, my speech, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the attention.
There is correlation between advanced technology and also independent learning. I think there is a correlation between them. But I want to ask you, how about in remote area? Yes. How about in the remote area? Then in the remote area there are lack of some technology. Can independent learning be applied there? This in remote area, can the independent learning be applied there or not? Please share your opinion about this.
I think independent learning can be implemented that in there.
Condition that lack of advanced technology, because the first case that you said that there is correlation between independent learning and also advanced technology. How about remote area? Can independent learning be applied there or implemented there without any advanced technology? Lack of some technology tools like laptop, computer, or sometimes there is in village, I mean in village, lack of computer, lack of computer, laptop, or that lack of network or signal. What do you think about this? Can independent learning be implemented there or not?
I think it can if the technology is implemented in our organization. Okay, give applause for let's go to the third contestant. The second one. The second one is okay. William, to all judges and teachers, and to all my friends. Steve Jobs once said, the only way to do great work is to love what you do. My name is Adrian Ferry from 11 Science Program 2. What do you think when I say learning? Mostly, we are thinking that learning is process that we do in school. But learning is every process that happens in every aspect of life. So what exactly is the purpose of learning? Is it to achievement to be prized? Or to get a diploma? Or to get knowledge? Well, if you think to get knowledge, obviously you are correct. I have explained what is learning, but the main point I want to tell you is about how to realize the independent learning. Nadim has explained that independent learning means forming competent, intelligent students for the national human resource by creating a happy atmosphere without being burdened with the achievement of certain or score. Moreover, Reading Mayer 1973 explains that independent learning is a way of learning that provides students with a degree of freedom, responsibility, and authority in planning and carry out their learning activity. Students get guidance from teachers or other people, but that doesn't mean they have to depend on them. Ladies and gentlemen, from the observation of 18 public junior high schools Jakarta, some students are least interested in following listen. During the teaching and learning process, some students talk to themselves, play, sleep, and do other things outside the lesson. So why they do this? What is the reason? The reason is they are not interested in teaching lesson, which makes them bored and doesn't enjoy the learning process. Once again, I emphasize, when you like the atmosphere of learning, you will slowly begin to love learning. Here are some things that can be done to realize independent learning. First, identify your greatest interested. Interested doesn't only count for one source, but children can get interested from other sources. Interest must also have a clear object to make it easier for someone to take an attitude and aim for the right object. According to Crow, there are some factors that affect interest. Some of them. First, the earth factor. Stimulation that comes from environment or scope as appropriate someone wants or needs will be easy rise interested. For example, tendency towards learning. In this case, someone has the desire to be curious about science. 2. The factor of social motivation. Someone is interested in object or something. Besides, it's also influenced by factors from within humans and by social motivation. For example, someone is interested in high achievement in order to get social status as well. 3. Emotional factor. This feeling and emotional has an influence on objects such as successful journey that individual use in current activities. Can also generate feeling of pleasure and can increase enthusiasm or strength in this activity. Otherwise, the fearless experience will because someone interested to develop. In my opinion, the importance of interest in life has a huge impact on the behavior, attitude, and life of a person because they already know what they really want to do with it. Do you already know your greatest interest? Secondly, set your goals. Ken Lord said, goals are the first step to success, and goals also a key to success. The importance of setting life goals such as can control your life, get the best result, motivate, be the best of yourself, live a good life. Do you already know what the goal? I can say that a goal is something you want to do. A goal is something that's bigger than yourself. When you find a goal, you have realized independent learning. Many young people say their life has turned out differently if they have something to do. Ladies and gentlemen, the third point, after knowing what interest and goal you have, start achieving what has become your priority or your dream. Remember, your goal is to achieve your dreams. Continue to learn from one mistake to another mistake, one experience to another experience. That is why you must have a strong stance and never give up. Achieving your dream is not as easy as what is said. There will be many challenges that arise in order to win your lineage. If you work hard without praying, it is useless. Keep praying to God while working hard. Last but not least, from all the long explanation that I have delivered, I can say that when you can achieve these three things, then you'll be able to pray through definitely. So it's up to each one of us, now or never. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to ask your personal impression, especially about what is the implementation of teaching and learning process in our school. I mean in SMK Fransiskus. What do you think? Based on your experience, please tell us honestly. What do you think, or what is your personal impression about the teaching and learning process in SMK Fransiskus? That is already implemented in the pedagogy or not? Based on your personal impression. Please say it to us honestly.
Thank you for the question. From my experience, the independent learning in the school have a good
Do you feel that you are really free to say your opinion to
No.
express yourself in the school, especially in teaching?
from the school, they give me chance to explore more things about myself. But for me, I feel I'm too many. School give me this facilitas or like computer or from the teacher they give me a good listen. They give me chance to explore more things. But from me, it's too difficult. I can find more things about me.
That's your personal impression. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for the second contestant. Let's have the third contestant today. The stage is yours. deliver my speech about independent learning. Ladies and gentlemen, school. What comes to your mind after hearing the word school? Place we gain knowledge, place we find friends or best friend, the place where we fall in love with each other with. School is a place where we grow, develop, and know what our potential is to become great people in the future. However, to be the greatest in the future depends on how education system guides us in school. Ladies and gentlemen, in our country, Indonesia, it can be said that the education system adopted is constructed on idle, so rigid, and tends to prioritize formal education over informal. This can be proven from the federal position of the quality of education in Indonesia, where our country is in the 72nd position out of 78 countries. Students are required to be able to master all subjects, even though we need to realize that in the class, there are aspiring artists who don't need to understand mathematics. There are prospective entrepreneurs who don't need historical lessons. There are potential musicians whose chemistry hobbies are meaningless. And there are aspiring sportsmen who are concerned with physicals than disease. I am impressed by one of our homeland public figures, namely Danny Covenanters, who are just that. Our country doesn't need children who know everything. Our country needs children who do well in the things they love. I thought it would be really good if there were 100 people like him as driver of education for the better chance. Supposedly, our education system through school is more accommodating to encourage every talent and interest of students, not a method school or place for competition. We further encourage the students according to their picture. Of course, this will directly impact the quality of student produce and produce human resource when integrated from time to time. It's not enough just to finish holding a bachelor degree that we have graduated from completing education so far, but the quality of education received doesn't really guarantee applicants where they enter the workforce. Therefore, independent learning in our educational system that wants to apply in 4.0 era has been a role for the pioneering of this country. And as students, invite all of you to be enthusiastic, confident, to find about identity, but why, where, and how passionate, so that we can make the best use of this independent learning system by remembering the proverb of Robert Ballard, which reads, follow your passion, not your teachers, not your parents, yours. Finally, my speech, thank you for your attention.
Okay, I have a question. So, according to you, in order to success, the student must follow their passion in life, right? So, if the schools want to apply this rule in the class, how it would be? How do you change the curriculum in order to achieve that purpose?
Okay, firstly, I would like to say thanks to all my honorable judges that have given this question to me. Basically, in my speech, I told that the balance of the education between the formal education and the informal places like arts and sports have a good between. Good between. Not just to promote the formal education and not see that the students who love the arts as the art. It will be have to see that all education is important, not just to ignore. That's fine. Answer.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for the speech, and let's have the fourth contestant today. The stage is yours.
Good afternoon, my honorable judges, all the beautiful ladies and gentlemen, and Mr. House. The great Mahatma Gandhi once said, "Live as you were to die tomorrow, and learn as you were to live forever." Greetings. My name is Dominic Angelica Florentina Haguma, and I am from grade 11 science program 2. Our main theme today is move simultaneously, actualizing independent learning. The subtopic that I wish to present is freedom of learning in the educational system. My take on this freedom of learning is the accessibility of quality education for all the students in Indonesia. Based on this case, of course, there are several benefits in which I will present, and it's for the reason that I wish to present this topic to you all. First of all, is to improve the human resources, the quality of human resources in Indonesia. By providing quality learning, quality education in Indonesia for all of the students, it can also help us improve their skills of understanding on the subjects that they are learning and that are being taught by the teachers. By providing them the perfect environment for them to learn, and by providing them the best material that they can have for the subjects and for all those materials that they are going to study, we can also help them improve their learning abilities. We can also improve their skills, and with that, we can also improve the quality of Indonesia's human resources, in which it can also benefit us, especially in the economic sector, in which because of that, we can also make Indonesia to be more leveled and could compete in the international arena. Second of all, there are societal benefits. For example, quality education promotes good citizenship and civil involvement. By giving them quality education, we can also make them understand and open up into the current political issues that are into our nation today. Also that, we can also help them understand what is the meaning and what's the importance of being an Indonesian citizen. Second of all, there's also quality education also promotes equality and empowerment. Knowledge equals power. But given the knowledge that we provide, we can also make them understand about what their that we must face. First of all, the numbers of service users or students in Indonesia is very, very high. Based on Kemendikbud.go.id, by the studying year of 2019-2020, there are more.
So, can you paraphrase in few sentences what is the relation between independent learning and empowerment?
Okay, to put it simple, the correlation between independent learning and empowerment, from my perspective, is, as I stated in my speech, knowledge equals power. That's all.
Thank you very much. Let's have the fifth contestant today. Good afternoon, honorable judges, the headmaster, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce myself. My name is Maria Melvina Vanessa Silva. First of all, I want to say thanks to God to this wonderful opportunity in this afternoon. And also, I want to say thanks to all judges for giving me this wonderful opportunity in this afternoon. First, I want to say that my speech will contain an explanation of what exactly freedom of learning is being implemented in Indonesia. Therefore, the point of my speech is very important for all of us, especially for teachers and students, because we can understand more about the concept of independent learning. My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, the teachers are the key to accessing the future, and education is the reason for the teaching and learning activities given in the field of education, both formal, non-formal, inclusive, and special education. My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, the teachers' figures and their teaching methods are the beginning to convey a variety of knowledge to us as students, where among the students in school, each student has different abilities. Some have abilities in the field of mathematics, some are in the field of science, some are in the fields of arts, and so on. At this time, both teachers and students in school are increasingly given freedom and independence in teaching and learning activities. Why is that? The answer is that currently the Ministry of Education and Culture of Republic Indonesia is increasingly aggressively pursuing independent learning in the field of educational institution in Indonesia. Previously, I want to ask, what is independent learning for us? Let me define the concept of independent learning. The word independent learning is the most appropriate to be used as a philosophy of change with the learning method occurred so far. Because for independent learning, there is independence in educational environment to determine themselves the best way in learning process. My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, why should independent learning must be implemented in Indonesia as soon as possible? This is because the quality of education in Indonesia is still quite alarming. Based on the data from the Program for International Student Assessment in 2018, initiated by the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, say that Indonesian education globally is in the 6th lowest rank out of 79 countries. In the reading categories, Indonesia out of Scandinavian countries. And sadly again, this ranking tends to be stagnant in the last 15 years. A number of observers consider that there are a number of major problems for our education sector, ranging from the low quality of teachers, feudalistic teaching system, and the quality of teachers in Indonesia is must to give a lot of improvements. This, of course, will be required for the government in Indonesia to give a lot of improvement in every education sector in Indonesia. So, therefore, independent learning is very important for all of us, especially in education sector in Indonesia. Because independent learning is very important for all of us, especially for us as students. Because we as students, we can have to follow the available curriculum, but we must follow the suitable learning method used. And with these freedom thinking skills, we as students cannot be realized or colonized by other people or by the social media and so on. The independent learning also give for the teachers in school so that the teachers can independently choose the best learning teaching methods for their students. And also, they can independently choose the curriculum that can be used for their teacher, for their students in classroom. And furthermore, independence also applies to school principals. This so that they can independently choose to determine what is the best in terms to using budget. My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, as Nabi Makarim said, in the past in building education sector in Indonesia, it was necessary to strive at the same time to create a good education, especially for us as Indonesian future generation. And Ki Hajar Dewantara is one of the figures in Indonesia that have high concern in the education sector in Indonesia. That as Ki Hajar Dewantara said, Indonesian students have different abilities and uniqueness in school. So, the teaching model in school must be student-centered by giving students the right to explore and develop their potential. My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to invite all of us, especially both students and teachers, to work together to realize this independent learning in Indonesia so that we can jointly build a more advanced education sector in Indonesia. Especially for us as students, we can be able to recognize and develop the abilities with the education sector for our future generation. Learn today so that tomorrow's life will be better. We believe that we can make Indonesia is a respected country with the education. This is the speech that I deliver. Thank you very much for all of us, and God bless you all.
Okay, teacher. And let's focus on some problems that you deliver in the speech. There are some problems that is ranging from the low quality of teachers, feudalistic teaching system. And otherwise, I underline this feudalistic teaching system. If I make a correlation with the system in our school, for me, for our teachers, actually, if you realize that it's still implemented here, feudalistic system, like it's like a physical punishment for students. And I say that based on experience, it's really effective to change students' behavior, to be more positive. For example, they don't do their homework,
suggest for question. I think it's a problem because that I said before, independent learning is not about the quality or about the fearless teaching system. Because in independent learning, the students can choose the best teaching methods for themselves. So I think the fearless teaching system and quality of teachers' education in school and so on that I said before, it's a problem for independent learning if independent learning is implemented in Indonesia.
Thank you for your answer.
Thank you very much for the students. Please welcome our conference downstairs.
Your class holder also is
independent to learn, independent to achievers, independent to has character. Hello everyone, good afternoon. The honorable judges, teachers, and I'm proud of all my friends. Here, I will deliver a speech with the theme Move Simultaneously Actualizing Independent Learning. Independent learning is a method of learning that was created by the Indonesian Ministry of Education and Culture. This independent learning program aims to provide a new atmosphere in learning so that students and teachers feel happier. Judging from the word independent, independent means free. This means that Indonesian students will be more free to have opinions, expressions, and freedom to develop their interests and talents. Students no longer feel that learning is a boring and embarrassing activity, but an activity that increasing enthusiasm in understanding science and character. In 2021, the Minister of Education and Culture, Nadiem Makarim, prioritized 8 important points. There are Indonesian Smart Card or KIP, school digitization, achievements and character strengthening, master movers, new curriculum, revitalizing vocational education, an independent college, and the last one is promotion of culture and language. Beautiful ladies and gentlemen, what I want to focus on here is point number 3, namely achievements and character strengthening. The implementation of the independent learning at this point is very important. Students with freedom of themselves become more flexible in achieving achievements and character development in their own way. In improving achievements, students will find it easier to understand the material provided by the teacher because they use their respective learning methods that do not deviate from the definition of independent learning. In terms of character strengthening, what I want to focus on here is how a student can shape himself into a good person who has good behavior and belief. In addition, character strengthening here allows students to freely develop their interests and talents. I have 3 important points related to independent learning in process of increasing achievements and character strengthening. First, the teacher should give a freedom to the students to understand the material provided through learning styles that suits a student's enjoyment. For example, there are students who like or better understand the material provided if they are listening to music, or better understand if the atmosphere is calm. There are those who need to be practice the material provided in order to understand, and there are those just by reading a book. The teacher here should give up the freedom of the students to understand the material with their own learning styles. So the students can feel that learning is a fun activity and they will certainly understand the material provided. Second, in terms of character strengthening, teachers should focus their students and form several small groups specifically for character strengthening activities. What some of these small groups do are activities in form of spiritual guidance in a comfortable place, positive activities such as seminars or sharing on matter, and related to good behavior. In this program, students must also be supported to develop the talents within each of them. Third, in terms of increasing achievements and character strengthening, teachers should focus their students on pursuing something that is in accordance to their talents and interests. For example, if the student is weak in mathematics but has good English, teacher shouldn't force the student to be smart in mathematics but sufficiently motivate the students to learn mathematics as best they can. Furthermore, the teacher must invite the students is pursuing English lessons. According to the teacher, the students can or smart. From this, the students can feel that learning is a fun activity, and they will feel that it's not because one lesson means they fail, but they have potential in another areas of learning. From these 3 points, the independent learning program that runs in increasing achievements and character strengthening can run well and get good results too. So, ladies and gentlemen, the existence of independent learning program for education in Indonesia is very important because it makes teachers and students feel happier. One more thing, students no longer feel that learning is a boring and depressing activity, but an activity that interesting and fun. Don't you think so? A few speeches from me. I hope this independent learning program can be more successful in education of Indonesia and it can be more progressive. Thank you, good afternoon, and God bless us.
Okay, very good. How do you guarantee that our process of learning process here in the school, especially if it is in-person learning, guarantee that all activities can or go towards the achievement, especially the building of characters?
Thank you for the question. I think that independent learning already runs in their school and get good results so far.
Okay, let me rephrase again the question. We are going to apply again in-person learning, right? So how do you guarantee our learning process can achieve what you have shared to us this afternoon, meaning achievement and character building? You may mention some activities that can increase or you may achieve those goals here in our school.
I have in terms of strengthening character, I already explained before that teachers should form several small groups specifically to strengthening character activities, such as spiritual guidance in a comfortable place, seminars or sharings on matters related to good behavior. And teachers should give up the freedom to the students to understand the material with their own learning styles. For example, they are listening to music, they are they are studying in comfortable place, and understand this by reading a book, and those they are need to be put into practice to understand the material provided. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please welcome our 8th contestant. Oh, sorry, the 7th contestant. The stage is yours.
Best greetings, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, judges and audience. It is a great honor to participate at this speeching competition. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Iman. I am from St. Fransiskus Senior High School. And today, I will deliver my speech about actualized independent learning. But first of all, let us thanks to Almighty God for giving this greatest opportunity for bringing us here safe without any problem. So, actualized independent learning. My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question. What is independent learning? Okay, independent learning is a new policy program which was proclaimed by the Ministry of Education and Culture of the Republic of Indonesia for the Advanced Indonesia's Cabinet, Mr. Nadiem Makarim. An essence of freedom of thought, according he said, is preceded by the teachers before there should be for the students. According to him, basic competencies of teachers with no level, without the basic treasures and progress of the curriculum, no learning would take place. And also, the Ministry of Cultural Education believes that the independent learning will increase Indonesia's PISA score, which means the Program for International Students Assessments. Previously, Indonesia was in the near bottom out of the 77 of OECD's, which means the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. That the countries that took part in 2018. My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, can you imagine that Indonesia was in the 7th bottom out of the 77 in PISA 2018? Think about it. This is our condition. The PISA score will make a perspective which we must make some changes, say by the researchers of the development agencies, Ministry of Education and Culture, Rambawati. And that's why independent learning is very needed in this era, because students, children no longer have to follow the available curriculum, but they can choose what is the best, what is the most suitable learning method for themselves. And this suits the word independent perfectly, because with the freedom of our students thinking, so that they cannot be colonized by any other people or social media. My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, not only that, the independent learning not only applies to students, but can also be applied to teachers, so that they can choose what is the best teaching method, so that they can determine from themselves what is the best for their students. And also, they can freely choose the best elements of the curriculum. My dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, not only that, but also, independent learning can bring many benefits for us, such as the first one, reducing the teacher's burdens. It is so that independent learning program will reduce teachers' burdens, because just like what I said before, that teachers can freely choose what is the best teaching method, and also they can choose the best element of the curriculum, and also they are free, they are no longer restrained from administrative tasks, which are sometimes burdensome. The second one, independent learning will make learning more fun, because with the independent learning program, it will make the class atmosphere be more pleasant and happier, and this will certainly affect the quality of learning better. The atmosphere of class also can increase students' enthusiasm, motivation for learning, and this can not only affect the students, but also the teachers and the parents that we can feel it. And the third one, do not require students to be safe. With the independent learning program, it will bring change for both students and teachers. Because as a teachers, of course, they know that every student is entrusted with a different privilege. And this is where they play as their educators and as their partners of study, to guide them to build more skills and more talents. In addition, the independent learning program is supported by the researchers of educational assessments, research and development agencies, Ministry of Education and Culture, Rahmawati. She said that independent learning program will allow students to freely develop themselves. They can freely choose what's the better for them. And they are no longer measured through the national examinations. So, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, to sum it up, the independent learning is a must for Indonesia. Let's actualize independent learning, because it will bring many benefits for us. For example, it will make learning more fun. It will increase Indonesia's PISA score, Program for International Students Assessments. And because we can freely choose the best learning method, it will also can increase our academic performance. And the last one is, it will increase our motivation and confidence. We must remember that the motivation is the key to our success in the future. So, the last thing that I want to state, that let's actualize independent learning, because the freedom, the independence of learning is a must for Indonesia's future generations. That's all for me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for delivering your speech. It's very nice. So let's actualize independent learning. So there are some questions here that I want to ask you. Actually about, according to Rahmawati, they say that independent learning will allow students to freely develop themselves. Students' assessments are no longer
transfer to their respective teachers. So what do you say about this? About no longer measure through national test results.
Thanks for the question. It's a very good question. So, the independent learning, according to Ministry of Education and Culture, that they will remove the national examination, and they will replace the national examination itself with the minimum assessment competencies. So that in that way they can measure the students' academic or educational performance. That's what we think.
Okay. So the next question. You said that. So let's actualize about independent learning. So I want to ask you as a personal student, what is the best learning method that suits for you?
For me, the best learning method is to watch through the video or listening to the teachers. That's what we do.
Thank you very much. Let's have the next contestant. The stage is yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Whom I respect the judges, the principal of Fransiskus Ruteng High School, the teachers and staff, and all my friends in Fransiskus Ruteng High School, Pidato. Ladies and gentlemen, Albert Einstein once said, education is not the learning of facts, but a training of mind to think. My name is Albert, and on this occasion, I'd like to speak about independent learning in Indonesia. Okay, so what is independent learning? Okay, independent learning is a new policy issued by the Indonesian Ministry of Education and Culture, Nadiem Makarim. According to Nadiem, independent learning is independence for education in determining their own way in the learning process. Through this independent learning, the Ministry of Education and Culture wants to create a happy learning atmosphere. Okay, so here, why? Because the first reason is, all this time, students' abilities is measured through test results and determined by certain values. Second, teachers are not free in determining the appropriate learning methods for students. And third, research data from the Program for International Student Assessment shows that Indonesia is the very low there. Okay, let's begin with the first reason. The first one, why independent learning must be implemented in Indonesia is, all this time, the potential or ability of students is measured through examination results and determined by certain values. For example, the national examination. According to national education standards, the passing threshold for national exam is determined based on an agreement between decision makers only. The passing limit is the same for each subject and for all students. Can you believe that? This is the same as generalizing the abilities of all students. Meanwhile, each student has their own abilities and their own weaknesses. This can trigger a sense of stress, such as data from a psychologist named Helen Damayanti, that 44% of students feel stressed when facing an exam, and 12% experience fear of not graduating. It's very bad for Indonesia's future generation psychology. In addition, this can also reduce students' self-confidence. Albert Einstein once said, everyone should genuinely
feeds on its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. It's the same as if you judge students' abilities on a subject that doesn't match their abilities, they will live their whole life believing that they are stupid. But the truth is, in the panel learning, students don't need to feel stressed or lacking self-confidence anymore, because students' abilities do not have to be pitched by certain values anymore. Okay, now we come to the second reason. The second one, why the panel learning must be implemented in Indonesia is, all this time, teachers are not free in determining the appropriate learning methods for students because they are constrained by the existing curriculum. Teachers have a very important task to educate the next generation of the nation who will lead this nation, who will lead Indonesia in the future. However, teachers are still shaped in the constraint of learning methods that are fixated by the available curriculum. This kind of learning method is very boring for students and teachers. Reporting from Compassion.com. The current curriculum only focuses on the administrative burden of teachers. But the curriculum should be directed at the learning process so that the learning atmosphere can be pleasant and the learning objectives can be achieved. Ladies and gentlemen, now we come to the third reason. The third one, why the panel learning must be implemented in Indonesia is, according to Program for International Student Assessment Research Results on Tuesday, 3rd of December 2019, for mathematics, Indonesia is in 73rd position out of 79 countries. For literacy, Indonesia is in 74th position out of 79 countries. And for science, Indonesia is in 71st position out of 79 countries. Can you believe that? Indonesia is in a very low rate. This happens because the current curriculum restrict the learning process in Indonesia. This is why the panel learning is needed, so that teachers can freely choose the best learning methods, the appropriate learning methods for students. Okay, now we come to the end of this page. I want to emphasize that independent learning must be implemented in Indonesia because first, all this time, students' abilities is measured through test results and determined by certain values. Second, teachers are not free in determining the appropriate learning methods for students. And third, research data from the Program for International Student Assessment shows that Indonesia is in a very low rate. Ladies and gentlemen, we need this independent learning. This independent learning can create a smart future generation and can lead this nation toward change. So I like to say, Indonesia, be ready to move to a developed country because we are the millennial generation is ready to set the change. That's all for me. Thank you.
Okay, any Grace? And underline the word that you see, if you judge students' ability in subject that doesn't match their abilities, they will live their whole life believing that they are stupid. And when I'm auditioning with right now the system now that more place based on your abilities also, like you choose what you want, like science program, language program, and social program. That I want to ask you, what do you think about the system that have been carried out here? That when you are in science program, you still learn English, and you still learn what else? Still mathematics, and it's good with your program. And in the language program, they still have mathematics, and they still have English, and so what do you think about this? Related to what you said before, that play student based on their ability. What do you think about this? Are you still feel? Do you still feel free
I feel free because in our program there is still German language subject, and because of that, why I choose science? Because I want to focus on biology and physics and chemia. But there is German language, and I didn't feel free at all with this.
You don't feel free.
Yes.
How about English?
I need English. I need to still learn English because I have a big dream to school overseas.
Thank you very much. Let's have the next contestant today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, all the judges, teachers, and all of my friends. Praise and thank God Almighty because we are still given good health, so we can get together here to hold a speech competition. My speech this time is still related to my speech a few weeks ago. The speech I will present is moved simultaneously by applying innovation, actualizing independent learning during pandemic. So first of all, let me explain what innovation is and what independent learning is. According to expert Stephen Robbins, innovation is a new idea that is applied to initiate or update a product or process and service. When the mayor explained that independent learning is a way of learning that provides learner with a greater degree of freedom, responsibility, and authority in planning and carrying out their learning activities. Based on Suara.com, Save the Children findings shows that there were 664,000 schools in Indonesia are closed during the COVID-19 pandemic and affect more than 60 million children. As a result, they have to do distance learning online. Sadly, after nearly 9 months of the pandemic, 4 in 10 or 40% of parents say their children's learning motivation has decreased. The main reason children lose 70% of their motivation to learn is due to boredom, too many tasks, less fun learning methods, no interaction, and fighting over facilities. Once again, the main reason children lose 70% of their motivation to learn is due to boredom, too many tasks, less fun learning methods, no interaction, and fighting over facilities. Explain Deputy Chief of Save the Children and Policy Program, Tata Sudrajat, when presenting his finding. 7 in 10 parents and 73 of children say they have significantly less time to study at home. There is even data that 1% of the 60 million Indonesian students feel they have not learned anything during the distance learning process. Just imagine that. 1% of the 60 million students feel they have not learned anything during the distance learning process. So, how can we manage this problem? Therefore, responding to the ineffectiveness of learning from home, I will describe some innovation that can support children learning levels at home. In an effort to enforce more enjoyable teaching and learning activities, the government, through the Ministry of Education and Culture, has implemented several programs
2. Life skill education. Interest is how someone can do something with more pleasant condition. Likewise, in learning, it is necessary to overfund things for students so that they can enjoy more in doing teaching and learning activities. One way is through life skill education that is more applicable, implementative, and contextual to current conditions. 3. Learning in accordance with students' interest and condition. In this case, the teacher is very important to be wise in adjusting to existing conditions without neglecting the curriculum target. 4. Qualitative assessment of class. In assessing assignment given to students, the teacher should not make assessment as is usually done in school. Once again, in assessing assignment given to students, the teacher should not make assessment as is usually done at school. The assessment is sufficient to be done qualitatively, which is more helpful. Ladies and gentlemen, moreover, there is creative ways to increase student interest in learning in this pandemic era. 1. Entertaining method. For example, students are asked to watch, read novels, enjoy drama shows, and so on to get learning information according to the material being taught. 2. Creative application. For example, the use of the TikTok application, which is currently preferred by young people. This application can be used for learning tools that are more creative and fun for students. 3. Create a learning plan that engages students. Engage the lesson plan with the desire and condition of students so that it is more acceptable and excused in pleasant conditions. As great as any lesson plans are made during the pandemic season, if students are not interested in implementing them, it will be difficult for teachers to carry out the maximum teaching and learning process. Seen from the data, of course, the innovation can help a lot, especially in independent learning. So, let's build fun learning together by applying fun innovation in the world of education. Tea will not taste sweet without sugar. Something can happen if we didn't work together. So, I emphasize once again, the innovation above is an innovation that is expected to help students interested in learning during the pandemic, which, as we know, the level is decreasing. That is the speech I will deliver this time. I hope the speech I deliver can be useful and we can think back together. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much, Salika, for delivering your speech. It's very nice. So I want to ask you some questions here. So basically, all of your performance is good. So there are some creative ways here to increase student interest in learning in pandemic area. So I want to ask about actually is the correlation between increasing student interest in learning by using creative application such as TikTok application. As we know that there is TikTok syndrome that happens to young people that addicted TikTok really. So what do you think?
Okay, so for correlation, I think that I saw on TikTok, because I have TikTok too, there's some students that have assignment from their teacher. The teacher gives that assignment that they have to upload their task in TikTok. And for the student that addict for TikTok, I think the solution is we have to use their application that can control some application that they don't know. That I think that should be downloaded. And we have to work together with the parents too.
So there will not like we adapt with someone, we adapt with some application, and then after that we did not learn anything. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please welcome our last contestant today.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let's thank to God because we're given the opportunity to be able to see the good of the world until this moment. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Bulanta and I'm from grade 10 to celebrate. Let me say thank you to the judge and committee members who has given me a change, standing in front of you to deliver my speech. Before we continue to talk about the topic, let me ask a question to the students who had attended school today. Did you guys enjoy this online learning? Yes. Okay, you guys are answers. Then let's move on to the topic. During the period of studying at home, we naturally face various challenges and obstacles. Lots of students have complained about this online learning. Take the case that happened in February 2021, report from newsofislam.com. The Indonesian Child Protection Commission reported several cases of children doing this online learning to become depressive and early committing suicide. A variety of challenges hindered effectiveness of this whole learning process. As a result, the enthusiasm for learning of each student has decreased. They feel this pandemic is an obstacle for their learning process. Regardless of the negative side, let's take the positive side of this pandemic. With this online learning, we are more aware of technological developments, and it is not impossible if in the future, all activities will be completely digital. But did you know that this is actually a great opportunity? It's a great opportunity, I said, especially for Gen Z to enter a world that is even more sophisticated. That is what we will discuss in Move Simultaneously Actualizing Independent Learning. Our Minister of Education, Nadine Makarim, found a new innovation for our learning so far, namely the free learning curriculum, or in Indonesian, namely Kurikulum Merdeka Belajar. Reporting from Kompas.com in joint working meeting with Commission 10 DPR in Jakarta, according to Nadine, word Merdeka Belajar is most appropriate to describe the change in learning that are happening in Indonesia today. Students no longer have to follow the available learning curriculum in school, but there are various kinds of learning reference available in technology that we use. This learning innovation also requires students to be independent and creative students. Ladies and gentlemen, finally I would like to conclude that one point we should know is let's make this independent learning innovation an opportunity that has been given to us to support our learning process to be even better. Our learning resources do not only come from teachers, but there are various kinds of learning reference available in technology that we use today. Increase our enthusiasm for learning, deepens your horizon by looking for new knowledge to explore, find as many skills as possible, join organizations that can help you grow. If you still think this online learning is a barrier for your enthusiasm in learning, how long will it be like that? Remember these things, ladies and gentlemen. If you all still lazing around now while your friends out there are progressing, even achieving their dreams, are you not the same? If you think of it, you're still looking for additional money to buy plane tickets while your friends have arrived in New York. Just remember, you have to do something today that can make your future self thinking for. Go support yourself, motivate yourself, because only yourself can push your own intention. Don't wish for it, work for it. Scared? Good. We don't grow when we stay inside our comfort zone. It can encourage us to become a better individuals, of course. If you know you can do better, then do better. Dear ladies and gentlemen, I think that's all my speech. It's such an opportunity to deliver my speech right now. Thank you for listening and thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Mulan, for your speech. Let me ask you some question. So, here you said that during the period of studying at home, we naturally face various challenges and obstacles. So, lots of students have complained about this online learning. But the next paragraph, you said that this is not only the negative side, but also let's take the positive sides of this pandemic. So you said that the online learning, this is good for ourselves too. So I want to ask you just one question. So is it possible for us to use online learning and independent learning? Is it possible for you?
Thank you for the questions that has been given to me. In my perspective, I guess it's online learning. I mean, it's online learning because I guess it's some prepared things to face the most digital features that we as millennial generations have to face that future.
So how about independent learning? It is possible for us to combine online learning and independent learning.
I guess online learning and independent learning have us. I guess online learning and independent learning is combined because we run off